let me greet you with the same salutation that would have been said to the gunman as he entered the Linwood Mosque and the Al-Nur Mosque. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace on each and every one of you, my brothers and sisters. I would like to begin by paying homage to some of the victims of the tragedy of Friday. First of all, I would like to say to my father, Dawood Nabi, 71, a refugee who is a vintage car enthusiast. I say to you, my father, that I wish I have a fraction of your courage that you showed on Friday by putting your unarmed body in front of the bullets to protect your fellow worshippers. I would like to say to my brother Naeem Rashid, 49, a teacher, who again unarmed is seen wrestling the gunman so that his fellow worshippers could not be killed. But unfortunately, not only himself, but his son Talha, 21, was killed. For you, I have the verse of the Quran that you are indeed not dead, but you are in full provision with your Lord, and we are confident that you are in paradise together today. I would like to say to my sister, Husna Parveen, 42 years old, that you went from a place of relative safety on Friday to the male section of the mosque to make sure that your husband that was in a wheelchair was safe. He survived, you passed away. Your love will pass the testimony of time. And finally, we hear that the youngest victim was my son, Muqad Ibrahim, whose body has yet not been found, who is described as an energetic bundle of joy, and up to the day of judgment, you will be that. I am a lay person. I am just a volunteer for an organization called MEND, Muslim Engagement and Development, who tackle Islamophobia and every form of hate. I genuinely believe that we are at a crossroads in this country, and the actions that we decide to take today will be the legacy upon which we will be judged, and more importantly, the kind of future we leave our children. I have 3 of them myself. And that is why I would like to take this opportunity very briefly to request that we all take collective responsibility in fighting hate in all its forms. To the press, I say this: for too long, you have been telling lies about Muslims. For too long, you have been telling lies about immigrants. And for too long, you have been telling lies about people who look a little bit different. We as a community are tired of being portrayed in the context of negativity for too long. When you dehumanize a group of people, as it has been said earlier today, a man can walk into a mosque with a gun, with a camera, live streaming, killing innocent people, and at the same time be applauded for this action. So when Melanie Phillips can say on Sky News in 2017 that, I quote, "We can't have a situation where 1.6 billion Muslims are trying to murder the rest of the world and it goes unchallenged, that cannot go on for much longer." When Douglas Murray, who is the Associate Director of the Henry Jackson Society, which is a think tank whose research formulates policy that even plays out in the city of Leicester, that less Islam is a solution for less terrorism. When Rod Liddell, just in October, in one of our most distinguished newspapers, the Sunday Times, says that extremists should blow themselves up near Tower Hamlets, one of the most densely Muslim populated areas of this country, because you know what? That is away from where the rest of us civilized people live. We have to work together. Every democracy needs a robust free press, but we need to fight for independent press regulation. And with that, I move on to our politicians and our governments. Wherever, I beg you to robustly challenge those politicians that, despite having an eloquent tongue and a fantastic command of the English language, can dehumanize a minority of a minority of a minority when one of my sisters decides to cover her face? How dare you call her a letterbox or a bank robber? These words have consequences. I beg you to work with the CPS and the legal system in this country, as somebody else has already mentioned, to equalize the legislation that in this country that affords race crime to also afford religious hatred. Please set up resources to educate our children, because our children are our future, and we have to teach them not to hate, and we have to make sure they understand that Islamophobia stands on the same level as anti-Semitism and racism. And I urge the government that if you're indeed serious in tackling terrorism and extremism, please work with all grassroots Muslim organizations that represent the common man on the street. To my community, let us please be more engaged in wider society in things that matter not directly to the Muslim community. And with our mosque, we must take responsibility for producing the future generation of Muslim that is unashamedly and unapologetically proud to be both Muslim and British without any contradiction. And once again,